It seems that rather than having
Time
an
of the gentlelady has
independent
expired.
investigation,
Time
there
of
was
the
a lot of interaction between the Attorney General and the
gentlelady
Special
has
Prosecutor,
expired. Well, I've
which
been
shows that
generous with the time
the
and will
Attorney
continue to
General
do so,
was
but
actively directing your work. I yield back.
the gentlelady yields back. I think this is amazing, Mr. Durham. You had 8 text messages with the Attorney General of the United States in 11 months time period. That's amazing. I can't believe that.
Mr. Chairman.
America. Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody. Gene Berardelli here, and I'm starting a new show called This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we look at some recent news and current events that occurred during the week, and we react to it and explain why it is so dumb. Now, I've started the show because there's been a lot of dumb news coming out of Washington in recent days. But what put me over the top was this exchange during the Durham hearings with the House Judiciary Committee involving Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and her questioning of Mr. Durham concerning his report about the origins of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. It's so dumb, and we're going to break down why it's so dumb and why Jim Jordan ends up mocking her right at the end of her presentation. But let's get into it, and then we'll start explaining why it's so dumb.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You value the independence of a special counsel, do you not?
I do.
In a letter to Attorney General Garland submitting your report, you asked him to allow you to continue your investigation unencumbered. You said, "We want to thank you and your office for permitting our inquiry to proceed independently without interference, as you assured the members of the Judiciary Committee would be the case during your confirmation hearings to become Attorney General of the United States." You
Let's hold it
value
right here. Now, I want to point out what Congresswoman Jackson Lee is doing here. She's trying to set up Durham to fall into her trap. She thinks she's got this great point to make, and she's going to use Mr. Durham's own words against him. And she's going to think that she's being so smart about laying this trap. See, a lot of these committee hearings are about winning for your side. It's a team sport. You have the Republicans and the points that they want to bring out. You have the Democrats and the points they want to bring out. And they're all bad faith actors in a sense, because they don't really care about what's being said. They care about what they want to put on the record to score their political points later on. So Jackson Lee right here is trying to say, well, you agree that a special prosecutor should be a independent prosecutor, should be free of influence, because she's going to try to make a point that Durham was not free of influence, and she's trying to lay the trap. Now, Durham is a very, very smart attorney. He's been a prosecutor for over 40 years. He didn't get to where he is as the U.S. Attorney for the state of Connecticut by being a dummy. But let's see what happens. Does he fall for the trap of Sheila Jackson Lee? I sincerely doubt it. Otherwise, why would we be talking about it in this video?
Special counsel status. So it is accurate that Attorney General Garland let you proceed on your case as you wish. Is that true?
That's true.
And you see what she's doing there as well. Merrick Garland is on her team. That's the current Attorney General. So when the special prosecutor that was appointed by Bill Barr goes to Merrick Garland, now from the other party, not the party that he is favored by, asking about continuing investigation, and Garland allows him to do so, this is now seen as some sort of magnanimous gesture by Merrick Garland to allow an investigation that was going on for years to continue on, because nobody wants the appearance of impropriety, right? So now that she got the yes out of Durham, she thinks she's setting the trap, she's lying in wait, and we're going to see it doesn't really work out too well.
And yes or no, it was important to you that as a special counsel, your investigation was supposed to be independent. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Because
Still
special counsels and special attorneys are supposed to be independent, right?
Special counsel is.
Yes. And independent, they're supposed to be independent. Is that correct?
Special counsel is independent of the Attorney General's office.
Thank you.
Now, that's an important point I want to bring out. Durham is onto it by now. So he already corrected her about terminology, talking about special counsels, because she made a flub about independent attorneys, whatever the heck that means. But you see, Durham's already on to her right now. Let's keep going.
Why is that the case in your view?
So there can be some confidence on the part of people looking at the investigation that was done, decisions which were made.
Thank you. Special counsels and special attorneys are supposed to be, for the American public, to present the potential of a conflict of interest between the government and a sensitive investigation. By appointing a special counsel and attorney general is supposed to be finding an unbiased party to do the investigating. This was at a very high level. This was dealing with potential presidential candidates. This was dealing with Russia collusion and undermining the very fabric of the United States of America. And
again, she is laying it on thick. This is so important. This has to do with the presidency. This is why we need impartiality. She is just pouring it on.
they are supposed to leave that person alone, as you commended Attorney General Garland for doing. So, unlike Attorney General Garland, Attorney General Barr was very involved in your investigation, wasn't he?
He was not involved when I became special counsel. Prior to that, I worked under the supervision of the Attorney General and Deputy.
He was very
Attorney General's
involved, was he
office.
not? Let me just
So there's the rub. This is going to come down to an argument over when influence started and when influence ended. You see, when Bill Barr was just the boss of Durham from the Department of Justice, before he became a special counsel, before he became the special prosecutor, of course his boss supervised him and had influence over his job and they spoke often. But after that special counsel title is conferred, that's not what's supposed to happen. And you're going to see Durham is going to draw that line, and Jackson Lee is going to completely ignore that line.
bring you to this point.
depends.
Barr established early on that he was very interested in your investigation. On June 8, 2018, he sent then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein an unsolicited memo arguing that the Mueller investigation should not be able to force the president to submit to interrogation about obstruction. In his text message sending the memo, Barr wrote that he feels very deeply about some of the issues taking shape in the Mueller matter.
And there it is, folks. That's the trap coming down right now. What we're seeing is that Jackson Lee is going to talk about text messages between John Durham and Bill Barr. But the problem is there's that line of demarcation that we're talking about of, did it occur before he was special counsel or after? Keep in mind that the special counsel was set up in October of 2019. We're going back to 2018 in discussions about what was going on with the Mueller investigation and Crossfire Hurricane and all that other nonsense. That has nothing to do with John Durham being appointed as a special counsel for the origins of Crossfire Hurricane. This is just going to supremely backfire, as you'll see.
How often did you meet with Attorney General Barr in 2019?
Okay, big question here. How often did you meet with Barr in 2019? But it's not specific to when Durham was appointed special counsel. Watch the answer. This is absolutely brilliant. And this is how you outfox a really, really buffoonish question.
Before I was special counsel, maybe, well, with him himself, maybe every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something of that sort.
And then after?
Sometimes more frequently.
And then after?
After it became, I had been appointed special counsel, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that I saw him, but I didn't meet with him on
A lot.
investigation. No,
All
it was
right.
not a lot.
How
Oh, you see what they're doing? Now Jackson Lee is trying to put words in John Durham's mouth. Oh, you met with him a lot afterwards, didn't you? And he's like, nope, not a lot. Again, it's not about the answers coming from the witness. Sheila Jackson Lee has an agenda, and she is so confident that she's going to meet that agenda that the answers don't really matter. She's going to railroad it anyway and just try to make her point, which her point really means nothing, as you'll see, because she keeps going back to times before October of 2019. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show.
often did you speak or text with the Attorney General? This is during the investigation.
I wouldn't, when I was special counsel or prior to that?
Special counsel, sir.
I don't know how many times I texted with him.
All right. Well, according to now public records, Barr scheduled at least 18 meetings or calls with you between 2019 March and October 2019.
That's the time period from before John Durham was appointed special counsel. So what exactly is the point here?
And you and he text messages with each other frequently, didn't you? Text messages.
Yeah, I was appointed as special counsel in October. So before that, yeah, there were probably any number of text messages. After that, I don't know.
Here are some.
And why wouldn't there be text messages prior to October of 2019? Bill Barr was John Durham's supervising attorney. That's his job. The attorney general is supposed to be in contact with the assistant U.S. attorneys from different areas. That's kind of what the job is.
Examples. On August 31, 2019, he sent
August 31, not when he was special counsel.
you a message that said, John strongly suggests that you a lot of interesting things. On February 6, 2020, you text him, sir, just emerging from a skiff. Are you open to a call earlier this morning? On February 14, 2020, Barr texts you, call me when you get a chance. On March 19, 2020, Barr texts, can I call you later? And you responded, most certainly. On March 27, 2020, you sent him the best phone number for you all during the time of being special counsel. And here's an interesting one. On September 24, 2019, the day that the Speaker Pelosi announced a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump,
which is before John Durham was appointed special counsel.
Attorney General Barr texts you, call me ASAP, and later that day you text back. Do you have a minute for a quick call, Durham? What was the purpose of this call, Mr. Durham? Were you discussing the impeachment inquiry?
I never had any conversation with Attorney General Barr about the impeachment inquiry.
Mr.
And that's all there is to it. If she would have just asked that one question during her 5 minutes, she could have moved on to other topics that may have been more relevant concerning the contents of Durham's report. But no, she chose to take all this time to talk about text messages, most of which occurred prior to John Durham being appointed as special counsel, and others that seemed to be innocuous. Hey, can you talk for a minute? There's no indication what the discussion is going to be about. And keep in mind, this is an attorney general talking to one of his assistant U.S. attorneys. And again, there's no proof that Barr did anything. And the man just said under oath, John Durham just said under oath, there was no interference. So what is the point here? But it doesn't matter to Sheila Jackson Lee because this is about her scoring points. But she's not scoring points, is she?
Durham, this is an awful lot of direct interactions with the Attorney General for imposed, supposedly independent counsel prosecutor. During these messages that sound to you like appropriate interactions, do they sound like appropriate interactions between an Attorney General and a prosecutor investigating the administration?
She can't even read the paper.
Before I was appointed special counsel, I worked for the Attorney General of the United States. That's who
But you
supervised
subsequently
me.
became special.
Do you see the guy laughing in the background? The guy on the left there? You see the woman in the background laughing as well? And the guy in the glasses? They all realize this is nonsense.
Counsel, I know that. You
Right.
subsequently became. Not only did you interact with the Attorney General frequently, you also regularly engaged with one of his top deputies, Seth Ducharme. What was your relationship with Mr. Ducharme?
Seth Ducharme had been an assistant United States attorney in the Eastern District of New York. He worked
You had
with
to
one
say
of my
come
sons.
to order
my
because people were
friends,
laughing.
And he, at the time, was working in the Office of the Attorney General.
It seems that rather than having
Time
an
of the gentlelady has
independent
expired.
investigation, there was a lot of interaction between the attorney.
And now she's going over her time because she has to make that grand flourish at the end, even though she's accomplished nothing. But the best part about this is yet to come, folks, because the chairman of the committee, Jim Jordan, is going to have something to say about this whole line of inquiry.
The
General and
gentlelady
special
has
prosecutor,
expired. Well, I've
which
been
shows that
generous with the time.
The
and will
Attorney
continue to
General
do so,
was
but
actively directing your work. I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back. I think this is amazing, Mr. Durham. You had 8 text messages with the Attorney General of the United States in 11 months time period.
And there it is. What was accomplished here? Sheila Jackson Lee came in so confident she had something she was going to bring up to the American people, but she didn't deliver. And she couldn't even read. If you notice, all these members of Congress at these committees, they have their questions planned out. There's preparation beforehand. Some people have to use a script because maybe they're not so good at public speaking or something like that. She was clearly using a script. She had her points made. She knew what her zinger was, and she still didn't deliver. And now Jim Jordan's going to rub her nose in it because, my God, the biggest type of buffoon that you find in Washington is the one that is overconfident and underdelivers. In my book, which I happen to have right here, by the way, Schnooks, Crooks, Liars, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons. I almost screwed up the title of it. Available now on Amazon and other books, where other books are sold. This type of buffoon, which we call the BS buffoon, the supercilious buffoon, is the one that has some sort of overconfidence in their ability, but really they lack the skill or the ingenuity or the capability to be able to deliver. Sheila Jackson Lee was here trying to say, I'm going to set up this trap for this seasoned attorney, and he's going to fall right into it because I got the goods on him. I got text messages saying, hey, can you talk for a minute? What exactly does that prove? If you show that to the average American, what exactly did that signify? Absolutely nothing. Let's let Jordan get his zinger in and watch all hell break loose during the committee, because now it's gang warfare. The Democrats have to get up in arms about Jim Jordan going after one of their people.
That's amazing. I can't believe that.
Mr. Chairman, parliamentary inquiry. Whose time is that you were speaking on?
That was that time that was yielded to me earlier that I yielded back, I think.
That's a select
Mr. Chairman, that is absolutely inappropriate.
I was just pointing out something that I think is so.
Mr. Chairman.
And the clutch purling, the clutching of the pearls. The clutch purling? What is that word? The clutching of the pearls begins. How dare you speak about your colleague that way? That is totally inappropriate. But you know what's really inappropriate to me? What's truly inappropriate is that these people think that they can waste the American people's time, very valuable time, in doing serious work, and think that they're going to score some political points. It just doesn't work that way. You got to have a little bit of skill. You got to have a little bit of knowledge. You got to have command of the facts, and you got to be able to make a reasoned argument. This was nothing but a failed gotcha. It's an epic fail, in my opinion. And Sheila Jackson Lee is a complete and total BS buffoon. So that's it for this video. We're going to give this a try. We're going to see if we can do some more of these. Obviously, we're going to be talking about different types of buffoons. We'll get different videos up and react to them. We'll also try to get some guests on to join us. Maybe we'll do some live streams. Who the heck knows? The sky's the limit for discussing dumbmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.